Thank you. You had a lot of beers in between lunch break, didn't you? I can tell. All right, so this talk is about how I want to pitch against. Sorry, still drinking. How I want to pitch against Shopify without really competing on features, because competing on features nowadays with AI is kind of a dumb idea, and I tell you why. So, what happens when building software is about to cost almost nothing anymore? Like everyone can fire up, rip off a Claude session, send some prompts, and get most likely a proper result out of it. Like people do their own therapy with ChatGPT nowadays, right? So the reality is that 12 months ago, we had AI, but not in that fancy way we have it now. Like I can remember reading books last year, end of last year, but they were still like just published 2 months ago. Like mid 2025, books were released. I read them. They are already outdated. That's what it feels like. If you run Claude and if you run an update, like you can do it like almost hourly because they're shooting updates like every day at least. It's crazy. And every developer has access to it, and every client has access to AI as well. They might not use Claude, they might use ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever, but not only our developer process of doing things has changed, also every other role in the industry has changed. Like marketeers work differently nowadays than they did a year ago. So I say the cost of actually producing software, building features, is not like we're used to get paid by the hour, but nowadays you fire up a prompt and then you sit there, wait for 20 minutes, and ideally you fire up another session for another project in between, and then all of a sudden you have a cognitive overload because you're working on so many things at the same time. So what makes the difference between you or the merchant and the next merchants? What is the competing factor when everyone has access to all the knowledge around the world with AI? And I say it's pretty simple. It's your data, it's your context. AI is only good if you have context, if you give it context, if you give it the data that you own, your orders, your customers, the customer's behavior. Only then will AI create good results. So similar for the code base. If you run any agent without the context of the Magento 2 code base, it will not produce proper code. But if you have that access and know all of that sub-skills stuff, every intern can nowadays create another Magento 2 block extension. Right? This is not magic anymore. It's just one-shot prompt. So I was invited to pitch at a mid-sized company in Germany. It's a 900 people company. It's a German publisher. They have magazines, like a lot of magazines, physical magazines. And for every magazine, they have a subscription shop. They partially have an event shop. For some, they have a merchandise shop. And there was an internal switch in that company where they said, IT is not longer responsible for the online shop anymore. Now it's marketing. And usually this is a very common pattern in Germany, that we have these mid-sized companies, and most of them don't have a dedicated e-commerce team that take care of everything within that sphere. It's most of the time it's either IT people taking care of the online shop, or marketing. The marketing team is responsible for the online shop. So depending on what happens, they have different priorities, so to say. So now there was a shift from the IT department to the marketing department, and all marketing wants is Shopify. That's what it is. It looks shiny, it looks cool, all the Shopify landing pages are cool, it's easy to understand, you can set up everything in no time, they have all these promises, and yeah, you can't find any downsides, right, at first. So what do you do with, and I knew this beforehand, I knew the situation when I went into the pitch. So it wasn't that I stumbled into there and then all of a sudden I was faced with that situation, but I knew beforehand that this change would happen, or has happened, and I knew which people are in that pitch. So the pitch started by letting the client explain their requirements and what they want, and I at least tried to, but all I did is praising Shopify and saying, look, they have these AI tools now. You have such a cool reporting features. Even the IT guy, who's more in favor of having your own software, he likes open source stuff. Even he was kind of impressed that he could connect Shopify store to their Business Central in like 50 minutes and just worked. So it was hard to go into that pitch. I decided to not compete on features. I wanted to show what is the current state of a modern Mage-OS Hyvä build of a stack that actually works, that is fast, where the data is yours, and what is possible in the future. I didn't want it to compete on, like, rip off a big Excel sheet and show, look, this is a functionality of the Hyvä page builder that Shopify doesn't have. It's like not the discussion you want to do. So yeah, I tried to not play their game. I sold the story that if you, dear marketing team, dear IT team, if you look at your own workflow right now, and if you look at the workflow that was like 6 months ago, it's entirely different, because marketing team now generates HTML code with ChatGPT and then tries to integrate it into their current subsystem, whatever it might be. They didn't know how to spell HTML half a year ago, kind of. So this is an entirely different approach now. And I thought, if we think another 6 months from now, what do you think we will have? Is it really important that we talk about a page builder anymore? Or are maybe different things interesting for the success of your store? So yeah, I just came up with some ideas of what could those features be? What could be the workflow of tomorrow be with all the AI stuff and AI getting easier and easier? So instead of, creating landing pages all day long, you will just at some point will just have a little interface, a ChatGPT interface that knows everything about your store. It knows your data, it knows your customers, it has access to your sales data, it knows the content that you provide, it knows which attributes you usually fill and the ones that you might miss out. It knows the pictures and the images that you upload, and even the configuration of your store. So you can do something like having a little admin assistant that is capable of creating landing pages for you. Like, you've an Easter season coming up, a holiday sale coming up, you could just ask that AI, can you build me a landing page for just that? And no more context is necessary, because the AI already has the context of your store. The data is already in there. You might not have that in a SaaS world, in a Shopify world. Same with reporting. What is my best-selling customer? Which are the countries I should tackle the most? Which are the best-going products? It's just the conversation that you all of a sudden have with your shop, and it's not trying to get proper graphs out of a report feature in Magento. So the main thing I was actually trying to sell is that the more access to your data you have, the more powerful your e-commerce shop or e-commerce system will be. And you can even connect it further, right? Because if you own your data, you can enrich it, you can add your ERP data to it if you want, you can, whatever marketing tools you use, you can all plug it in there. And if your main source of data when it comes to e-commerce is your Magento store, then we're kind of set, right? That's your competitive advantage, because at the end of the day, you won't download any used piece from any app store, right? It's like Shopify Marketplace has 1 trillion different apps. yeah, you can download them, but that doesn't make you any better than others. It's not a competing factor anymore, because you just build the features that you really need, and besides that, your data is what really sells. So I presented then a very opinionated, very modern, very not battle-proven stack yet, but at least it's an idea. It's an idea of a stack, how the future of the Mage-OS default build in the community or in the environment could look like. So we started out with the basis of having a Mage-OS. Comes with, you know, a proper admin theme, comes with a lot of AI features, unique features. I get back to that later. I will show you something. And we also added the entire Hyvä stack, of course. So we have the page builder. We have the media features. And then on top of that, we added TypeSense. So TypeSense is a little different. It's a search. In the first place, it's a search. It's an Algolia alternative, but open source. So Algolia is a super powerful search engine. It's a vector database. It's super powerful and it gets very expensive very fast. So there are these people from TypeSense. They pretty much cloned the entire Algolia API, made it open source, and just works. So it's even compatible to one of each other. So you're gonna have TypeSense modules just connected to Algolia. It kind of works, which is, yeah, it is what it is, open source, yeah. So, but the cool thing about having a good search is not only that customers do actually find their stuff. The cool search about TypeSense is that it's a vector database. So a vector database can be used as a RAG, and the RAG in AI terms is, I always explain it like this way. If you have an LLM, you can see it as kind of your brain, whereas MCP tools, for example, is more like your hands. They can do things, yeah. And then a RAG, on the other hand, is the memory of the entire AI stack. So in this case, we added TypeSense, but not only use it as a search engine, but also use it as a RAG, so we can understand and memorize all the data that is in a Magento store. You could, in theory, skip the RAG part and just build a bunch of MCPs that just connect to the Magento database, but this, you know, gets pretty slow pretty quick. So in this way, we get much faster results and also even better results, though. So these are just some technical facts. We have a certain setting of embeddings. It is self-hosted, as I said. It's open source. I think it's written in Go. Not too sure, to be honest. But it's pretty simple to set it up. Just lives next to your stack, and we're Magento developers. We already know so many services. We know Redis, and we know RabbitMQ, and MySQL, Elastic, OpenSearch, all of that kind of stuff, Varnish. So yeah, now we can add TypeSense as well. Doesn't really matter. Okay, I have prepared a little demo that I want to show what it could look like to have such a stack. So the main feature is pretty much that we have sort of an AI agent here. I should have connected myself to the internet first. So what will happen if I type something in here? It just lives in the admin. It will fire any question into ChatGPT at the moment. In theory, you could have, if you really take care about your privacy, you could set up your own big LLM provider on AWS Bedrock or something similar. So data, the AI and the LLM data that you send to it, it lives actually on your server in your dedicated region, wherever you want it to be. Okay, so what I can do here is I can just ask questions like, what are my best selling products? And hopefully my Claude session didn't mess it up, but ideally it should give us something. There we go. So these are the best selling products. And then we can go further and say, Where are my customers coming from? And should give me some information about my customers too. There we go. So in this test scenario, we are based in the US. So and this is pretty much the way that marketeers will work with a shop most of the time in the near future if they're not doing that already. I said it's a proof of concept because we can also do stuff like how to make a bread. And as we have no guardrails right now, I would still do that. So pushing this as like a public service that customers can use is pretty tricky. It can live in the, it's pretty accurate. So giving that to real customers can be tricky. Yeah, we have to work on guardrails. It's all, you know, like the procedures for gatekeeping the answers, those are available, but it's the matter of implementing it. It's not that we're just creating an MCP tool here. We are actually trying to build like a small little AI agent that has multiple tools. Like right now we have like 25 tools in it, trying to get it to a point where it can deliver proper answers based on the data that is in your store. So in theory, you could also ask stuff like about your configuration and stuff. But yeah, you need at some point, before you really use it, you need those guardrails as well, right? Okay, so this is kind of the reporting feature, yeah, like in theory, you could also add a bunch of MCP tools to that and ask for create me a coupon code for my bestseller product or something. And then it could just do that. But it can also fail. So similar to vibe coding, you always have to have a human in the loop. And this is something, because we're not using Cloud Code here that does all the work for you, this is something we have to implement ourselves. So I think our work as software developers will switch from creating like features that were cool a year ago, but are now easy to implement. Like the block module, for example. Like every intern can fire up a Claude session, creating a cool block module, and it will just work and just be fine. Okay, besides that, I have another proof concept, which is doesn't work that well, but I hope you understand the idea. So if I have a common like just empty page here, I try to implement the AI admin assistant into the Hyvä page builder so that the marketing person doesn't have to click and do all the stuff themselves, can just ask for create me a landing page for my best selling products. So in theory, my expectation would be that we see maybe hero image, hopefully a working slider with proper products, and maybe some content as well. So that the marketing person who's actually taking care of landing pages and all of that just needs to work on the last 20% of the final landing page. That's the idea. So it's done. I'm gonna save that, and we gotta reload because it's not fully correct now. Okay, it didn't do anything. Try to create a group and a product slider, which has, yeah, all right, I broke the entire thing, I think, with that. But it's not the point. It's not the point to have it working yet. It's not working, and it will take a lot of time a lot of additional tools to have it working. You need like JSON validation and all of these little nifty tools to have proper integration with the schematics of Hyvä page build component. But it's just to give you the idea of what will happen in 6 months from now on, because this stuff is easier and easier to build in the future. Okay, so one more thing, and then I'm done. besides all of the AI features and building and talking about the data, we also want to talk about performance, because performance is always fun. And now we have 2 stacks that we can compare. Like we can compare our Mage-OS, Hyvä stack, TypeSense stack against the old classic Magento 2 Luma stack. I know it's an unfair comparison kinda, but I thought it's gonna be fun to just see what are the performance impacts that Mage-OS has made over the past few years, and on top of that, the Hyvä stack, and on top of that, a little TypeSense integration. So I spent about 10-12 hours with Damien Retzinger to create a Kubernetes cluster with both stacks hosted on it. We disabled full page cache entirely because we just want to see the time to first byte. And we run a K6 test, like a small K6 test that is just firing up 250 virtual users from an EC2 instance, firing on the system to see how the 2 stacks behave under load. And yeah, no cheating was involved, so we didn't do any tweaks. We made sure that both stacks had the exact same amount of categories, of orders, of products, so it's loaded with data. And the numbers were quite fascinating. So the Hyvä stack is twice as fast as, or the Mage-OS Hyvä TypeSense stack is twice as fast as the Magento stack under load, and full page cache disabled. Yeah, this is the two things that are important here. So it's under load and it's full page cache disabled all the time. No varnish at all, no full page cache. It's completely out of it. So yeah, as you can see, the throughput is way higher on the Hyvä side, 51 requests per second versus 36. It's kind of banger. We have a little graph here. If you show to the graph on the top left, the green line is the Hyvä stack, which is at max at 250 virtual users firing onto the system. We still get response times below 4 seconds, which is perfectly fine under that load. 250 users, you have to imagine that that's quite a lot of load. So we created a network traffic of about 80 megabytes per second onto that system with that much of users, and we recently had a synflood attack on one of our clients, and they created like 120 megabytes per second of load. So if we had that stack, we could have almost, eased it out. The yellow line is the Luma stack, and you see this big dips in it, it's big crashes. It's just completely dropping out. It's not even responding properly. It's just doing weird stuff. Sometimes you get just random error codes in it. Error rate down below is now working, by the way, obviously. So yeah, that was a fun little experiment. Same data, same store, 2 stacks, same resources of servers. So yeah, the end of the story is they actually chose us because they understood that their data privacy and their data is the actual competitive advantage, and that a few features here and there are not that big of a deal because we can just build it afterwards if they really need it, and that we made that promise kinda that the entire workflow will change anyway. So why comparing features now is kind of useless. Yeah, stop competing on features. That's it.